Namaste and welcome to Yin and Restorative Yoga with some gentle movement to warm us up. So you'll want to have for this practice a space to put your legs up either against a wall, or maybe you have a piece of furniture like a couch or a bed nearby. You can clear space near it, or a big stack of pillows. So let's start in a comfortable seat of your choice. We also had a request from our live community practicing with us today to open up the outer hips and all over the legs. So we'll add that into our physical practice. So let's begin. Make sure that the way that you're sitting as you shift your weight around evenly carries your pelvis at the front, back, left, and right side so that your spine can be upright and you can sit in a most relaxed, alert, and grounded way. So I'm in the middle of reading this book by Shannon Algeo, host of Soul Feed podcast called Trust Your Truth. And there's a section where where they actually quote one of my teachers of trauma-informed yoga, Sean Korn, and they talk about stress and the fight, flight, freeze or collapse reaction that happens anytime we feel triggered in any way. And when I say triggered, I mean that in a very vast amount of situations, from feeling anger to feeling startled or scared to feeling worried or anxious or nervous, any kind of difficult emotions that arises, especially suddenly. And so it says here, as I learned from my friend and mentor, Sean Korn, internationally renowned yoga teacher and author of Revolution of the Soul, contraction, which happens when that stress response is triggered in your nervous system, contraction without release becomes chronic tension. Tension without release becomes stress. And prolonged stress without release becomes disease. Simply put, dis-ease is a lack of ease in the body. When our bodies are in a state of dis-ease or disease, the answer is not to fight and combat the stress with more tension, although that may be your first impulse. We want to create intentional space for release, rest, and ease. As the season can become more full of stimuli and the holidays of the winter and fall season emerge, it may seem like things get busier. There's a lot to do. I've got a list of things to buy, got a list of places to go. And how do we find the time to notice when our own stress response is being activated, even if we're doing things that we enjoy? But too much of one thing can actually cause us to be exhausted, right? So how do we give ourselves intentional space to release stress so we're not carrying it piled up after another? Here is one of the practices, which we'll explore, from different techniques of breathing to physical postures to meditation, through the tools that yoga offers us today. And how might you implement any little pieces of these tools as you move throughout your week? So let's begin sharpening the pencil of our toolbox, so to say. So as you're now sitting still, maybe close the eyes. Become aware of the parts of your body that are being held and are touching the surface below your body. Notice any sensations. It might be the bottom of your pelvis, it might be your outer thighs. And then from the bottom of your body, begin to scan up your body slowly. Noticing things like temperature change or weight, any kind of sensations, the fabric touching your skin, texture, tension within the body. So that eventually your mental scanning of your body arrives at the crown of your head. Take your time. And as you're doing this, let's practice mindfulness, which includes not judging what you're observing, but having a curiosity about it. Now notice the part of your body in which you can most easily feel the breath flowing, and just let the breath flow naturally. For some of us, it's at the throat or the chest or at your nostrils, maybe somewhere else. Land your awareness there for a moment and pay attention to whatever you can feel about your breathing. And as you're noticing the qualities of your breathing, what does that tell you about the way you feel right now energetically? You're feeling very energized? Are you feeling kind of tired? Bring your attention now to your mind, and let's pause a moment to just observe what's going on with the mind, what it's focusing on, if it feels active or anything you can detect about your mind. By observing your mind, now notice how you feel mentally and emotionally. Notice how the kinds of thoughts that you're allowing to multiply may be affecting your emotions. So now tune into your heart center, the area of your sternum, but it's your energy center, so not only the organ that is your heart. What it feels alive in you right now, however you want to define that. Is there anything urgently needing your attention? Is there anything more subtly wanting you to notice? So you've just gone through a practice now of mindfulness. Here's yet another tool to slow down and check in with where you're at and how the busyness or non-busyness, whatever you've been doing in the past few minutes, is affecting your different layers of being, your koshas. So now let's start to awaken the heart energy a bit more by taking a moment to count a few blessings, anything that comes to mind that you appreciate in this moment. If you can't think of anything, notice what had to come together, what had to happen in order for you to be sitting here right now, beginning your yoga practice. Now let's bring that awakened heart energy into choosing one thing to focus on for this practice. So what do you need right now? What inspires you to show up for yourself today? What kind of energy do you want to cultivate, or a feeling tone you'd like to experience more of? So in your mind or out loud, set an intention for yourself for this practice. Now, setting an intention doesn't only have to begin at the start of a yoga practice. It can be at any given moment you want to make an intention of what comes next. So here's yet another tool, right? In Sanskrit, it's called sankalpa, setting an intention. So let's inhale a little fuller, slowly through the nose. Notice where that breath is expanding mostly. And then exhale through the mouth slowly too. Lengthen it a little bit more as you inhale through your nose. See if you can expand the breath somewhere else in your body. And then feel free to let out any sound as you exhale through the mouth. On your next inhale, fill up completely and hold the breath in for maybe 3 seconds, whatever you comfortably can. And as you're holding the breath in, just notice how that feels. Consciously relax your body too. And then take your time when you're ready to exhale through the mouth. Let out any sound that wants to move through you. And when you get to the bottom of the breath, hold it out for a few seconds too, and notice how that feels. And then try that 2 more cycles of breath on your own. Remembering that everything that we're doing right now, while is an introduction, is the yoga practice too. See if you can lengthen the breath a little bit longer each way, both in and out. And really pay attention to the body if it tenses when you're holding the breath or you're inhaling or exhaling. And now that you've set your intention, choose someone that you care about, or maybe it's a group of beings or a cause that you're devoted to offer up your efforts to today, to dedicate today's practice to. And now with your intention in mind and your dedication at heart, let's chant together. And this is yet also another tool to help relax the nervous system, is through chanting, as it also promotes deep breaths. But you feel that vibration, which can be soothing, specifically the vibrational sound of Om. So let's try it today for 6 rounds. We'll get into that groove. So here we go. Empty the breath, prepare with a deep inhalation for 6 Oms. Notice how you're feeling at this moment. Then come back to lengthening your breath, this time with the lips closed. Inhale and exhale just through the nose. And start to create a very soft whispering sound to the breath by gently narrowing the back of your throat. Cultivate a smooth, balanced, and calm quality to the sound of your breathing. Taking your time to inhale as slowly as you exhale. Beginning the breathing practice called Ujjayi Pranayama, which is a technique to relax your nervous system and cultivate mental focus. And as you're closing the lips, you're starting to create a little internal heat to warm up your body and prepare it to move. So keep that even flow and the gentle, audible sound going in the breath. And as you're sitting down, if you are sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch the cross of the leg that's forward or on top. And as you plant your hands face down onto your lap, Root your sitting bones and lift up through the sides of your torso. Relax the shoulders, lift up through the back of the skull. And let's start to circle the torso, breathing in, swaying the spine forward and over to one side. Breathing out, swaying the spine back and to the opposite side. So keep going a few more rounds. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and notice how the sensations feel from the inside out. Switch directions. You might experiment with large circles, small circles, or figure eights. Let's go about 5 more cycles of breath. Switch it up on your own a few more times. Getting some movement into the pelvic region for your lower spine and your hips. And then once you finish that, let's come down onto our hands and knees. All fours. Have a couple of blocks, so one on each side of your mat. Spread your fingers wide and flat on the ground, stacking your shoulders right on top of your wrists. Make sure that your index fingers are pointing straight ahead or slightly turned out, but not pointing at each other. Have your knees just beneath your hips. And as you breathe in, raise your right leg behind you and coil your chest up like you would for cat pose. Try to keep your 2 frontal hip bones facing the floor. As you breathe out, start to contract your abdomen, dropping your head and bending the right knee towards your chin, pushing the floor away with both hands. Inhale again, extend through your front body. Exhale, contract the front body. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. 2 more cycles of breath. And on the next exhalation, step your right foot to the right side of your right hand so that you have a wide lunge. And then grab your blocks, place them both on the inner side of your right leg. So your legs are wider apart than hips distance and both hands are on the inside of your right leg. So you're in a lizard lunge. Keep your right knee just above your right heel. And with your right knee and toes pointing straight ahead, tuck the back toes, and we're gonna enter another gentle movement to the breath. So breathe in here, let your pelvis sink as much as you comfortably can. Relax the shoulders, look slightly up. And as you breathe out, lift the back knee off the floor. Start to straighten your legs to whatever degree is comfortable, scissoring your right outer hip back. Lift your chest and pull it forward so it feels like as you have a flat back, bowing to the inside of the right shin. Inhale, lower the back knee. Kneeling lunge again, look up. Exhale, lift the back knee. Scissor the right hip back as you bow. Wide pyramid pose. Let's go 3 more cycles. Inhale, kneeling, lizard lunge. Exhale, wide, pyramid pose. Inhale, lizard. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lizard. And exhale, pyramid. Then lower the back knee to the ground, and we're gonna stay in lizard lunge a bit longer. This time getting a little more opening along the outer side of your right thigh and hip. So flex your right foot, curl the toes up towards the right shin, keep the foot flexed and splay open your right thigh so that you're now leaning just the outer edge of the right foot on the floor without sickling the foot, which would mean rolling onto the outer ankle. So avoid that, keep the foot flexed, and continue to gently scissor your right outer hip back as you lengthen your chest forward. And notice what's more comfortable for your shoulders, to raise the blocks and have the hands up a little higher, or to lower the blocks, or to remove the blocks, or to come down onto your forearms. Let's take about 5 deep breaths here. Slowly in, slowly out. Listen to the qualities of your breathing. Then gently place your hands on the floor and step into downward facing dog for a few breaths. Take a moment to move your body any way you like in downward dog. Pedaling your feet slowly in place can help to loosen up your hamstrings and calves along the backs of your legs. Check in with your neck and make sure it's completely relaxed. You might like to shake and nod your head a few times to release any tension there. Really lift the shoulders up and back and broaden the shoulder blades apart. Roll the triceps downward. And then set your knees back onto the floor. Stack the shoulders right above your wrists. See that your index fingers are not pointing at all towards each other. Stack your hips above your knees. And inhale, raise your left leg behind you and look up. Lift the chest. Extend through the front of your body. Exhale, contract your belly and round the back. Pressing the floor away with both hands. Inhale as you raise the left leg and extend. Try to keep your left frontal hip bone facing the floor so you're not turning out the leg. Exhale, contract. Keep going 3 more cycles. Follow your breath pace. When you finish the 3rd cycle, exhaling, step the left foot forward to the left side of your left hand. And then grab your blocks again to elevate your hands on, adjusting the height of the blocks so that somehow you're promoting balance like what you did on the first side. Stack the left knee on top of the left heel with the knee and toes facing forward. Tuck the right toes, and now in a lizard lunge, let your pelvis sink as you inhale, look up. Exhale, lift the back knee. Keep your feet where they are as you scissor the left outer hip back and lengthen your chest forward, bowing inside of your left leg. Pyramid pose. Inhale, lower the back knee. Lizard lunge again. Exhale, lift the back knee. Scissor the left hip back and reach your chest forward. Pyramid pose. 2 more cycles. Keep going. Follow your breath. When you finish the last pyramid, lower your back knee and let's set up to stay in the open version of lizard lunge. So flex your left foot, curl the toes up towards the shin as you splay open the left thigh. Lean just the outer edge of the foot without rolling over to the outer ankle. And then plant your hands at the height you need, either on the blocks, on the floor, or maybe come down onto your forearms with or without blocks. Gently scissor your left outer hip towards the rear of your mat as you're growing your chest forward. Relax the shoulders away from your neck. Let's tune into 5 more deep breaths here. Really focusing on that sound rhythm you're creating. This time, plant your hands on the floor and let's come down to sit with the legs in front of you. Take a block, place it near the rear edge of your mat off to the side, and take a strap as well. Place that off to the side and come to lie down on your back. As you're lying on your back, bending your knees towards your chest, take hold of your bent knees with your hands and circle the thighs apart as you breathe in. Exhale, rotate the thighs towards each other. And then keep going, just circling your thigh bones and your hip sockets. Switch it up, go in different directions. Go as slowly as you're pacing your breath. For about 5 more cycles of breath. So bring that non-judgmental curiosity into how you're doing this. Notice what kinds of sensations arise as you're moving your legs in different directions. How is your body communicating its needs to you here? And then set your 2 feet on the ground so they are wider apart than your hips distance. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet and drop both of your knees to the right side. Adjust your left leg so that your left knee is pointing down the midline of your mat. Now, observe the sensations around your pelvis, especially around your left hip, the front of it, and the left side of your lower back. Just take a few breaths to observe. If you're feeling any tenderness in your knees, flex the foot of the knee that feels tender. And if you're not feeling much happening along the left side of your pelvis, you could stack your right ankle just above your left knee on top of your left thigh to add just a gentle nudge to lengthen the front of that left hip a little bit more, the outer thigh a little bit more. Notice how that feels if you've done that. If you want to experiment some more, you could raise your arms overhead. And this helps to open up that whole left side of the psoas. And catch hold of opposite elbows and drop the arms towards the floor, but relax the shoulders down your back. Let's stay about 8 more slow breaths where you are. Uncross your legs if they're crossed and set your feet back onto the ground with knees bent. Separating your feet once again wider than hips width apart and separating your knees just as wide apart as your feet. And then release the arms if you have them overhead. Drop your knees both to the left side. Adjust your right leg if needed so that your right knee is pointing down the midline of your mat. And then pause here for a few breaths. Highlight your awareness around the right side of your pelvis. Notice what you're experiencing there. If you don't feel much happening, you can pick up your left foot and place the ankle just above your right knee onto your right thigh. You could also experiment with raising your arms overhead and switching the arm that's on top as you hold opposite elbows, relaxing the shoulders down your back. Now let's count slowly 8 cycles of breath. When you finish 8 breaths, gently unwind. Come back to that more neutral position, placing both feet on the floor. Relax your arms and now set your palms face down on your frontal hip bones, on the front creases of your hips. Separate your feet again, wider than hips width apart, but this time drop your knees together so that they touch. And then with your hands, apply gentle pressure to encourage the very tops of the fronts of your thighs to lengthen away from your frontal hip bones. Just opening up more space along the fronts of your hips. You might even feel some release in your lower back as you do this. Relaxing the shoulders down, lengthening your neck. You're just here for about 4 or 5 more breaths. And then bring your feet a little closer together so they're about hips width apart. Take your strap and step the ball of your right foot into the loop or center of the strap. Flex your right foot and kick it into the strap as you're pulling the strap with your right hand, extending your right leg upright. You can bend that knee slightly if that helps to be more comfortable here. Plant your left hand on the top of your left thigh, like where you were pressing before in the previous pose, and slide your left leg flat onto the floor, flexing your left foot too. Try to keep your left leg facing the ceiling so the knee and toes are pointing straight up, not turned out. Keep the back of your left and right hips evenly grounded as you rotate your right thigh externally, which means start to point the right knee and toes towards facing the right wall. And then start to open the right leg or abduct it from your midline. Breath by breath. So you're only going as far as you can keep the back of your left hip pressing into the floor. So you're not rolling over to the right. Keep relaxing your shoulders down and lengthening your neck. Count about 7 more cycles of breath here in supine hand to big toe pose. Engage your abdomen slightly as you inhale to raise the right leg upright again. This time hold the strap with your left hand and keep your right leg as perpendicular to the floor as possible. We're not trying to bring the leg closer to the chest here. Just try to keep it at a right angle, and using your right thumb, hook the outer crease of your right hip and press the right outer hip away from your torso so it rolls slightly towards the front edge of your mat. Now with the left hand, pull the strap straight downward. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to plug the top of your right thigh bone down deeper into the hip socket as you're gently nudging the right outer hip forward towards your front wall. Now, without actually moving your legs, isometrically scissor your legs towards your midline and keep your legs parallel to each other so they're not turning out, especially the left leg. Press the mound of your left big toe forward towards the front wall. And imagine as you're breathing here that your tailbone continues to lengthen forward towards your inner left knee. Crown of the head lengthens back towards your rear wall. So there's not much visible action occurring, But what we're doing is creating space in the lower back. A couple more deep breaths. They're all connected, right? The hips, the lower back, the hamstrings, the glutes. As we do something to one part, it affects the whole. So now as you stay in this position, start to rotate your right foot, sickle it so the sole of your right foot is now facing the left wall. Keep sending the right outer hip forward, but open your right arm out to the right side so that you can press the right shoulder flat on the floor as you begin to cross your right leg towards your left wall into a spinal twist. Take your time here, completing the twist in about 10 breaths in total. So notice the sensations that come up as you're moving throughout your range of motion in the twist. You might gaze past your right shoulder to gently stretch your neck. Slowly lift the right leg up again. Keep the same foot in the strap and hold the strap with two hands. Parallel your legs again. So left knee is pointing straight up. Press the instep of the left foot forward as you flex the left foot. Continue to flex the right foot. And now start to bring the right leg to whatever capacity closer to your chest. If you feel the back of your right thigh, your hamstring resisting, instead of bending your right knee, keep your right leg straight and bend your left knee as much as you might need to alleviate that stress. Without crisscrossing the legs, continue to isometrically scissor the legs towards your midline. 3 more breaths here. Notice what you're feeling in your body. Bend the right knee towards your chest, remove the strap, circle out both feet, relax from the flexing, and step the right foot onto the floor, step the left foot into the loop or center of the strap. Kick the left foot into the strap and flex that foot as you're holding the strap in your left hand, extending your left leg upright. Press your right hand onto the top of your right thigh as you slide the right leg flat on the floor and flex your right foot too. Keep your right knee and toes pointing straight up so you're not turning out the right leg. Keep pressing the back of your right hip onto the ground as you externally rotate your left thigh bone at the hip socket, pointing the left knee and toes towards the left wall. And breath by breath, begin to abduct the leg or splay it away from your midline, making sure your 2 shoulders, the backs of your 2 hips stay rooted on the ground. Stay for about 7 more deep breaths here. Slightly engage your lower abdomen as you inhale to raise the left leg upright. This time holding the strap in your right hand, use your left thumb and hook your outer left hip crease. pressing it away from your torso. So you're tilting the left outer hip towards the front edge of your mat. Use the strap, pull down with the right hand so you're plugging your left thigh bone deeper into your hip socket rather than bringing the left leg closer to your chest. So keep the left leg perpendicular to the floor. And as you're flexing both feet, press forward through the insteps of both feet. Breathing slowly, elongate your tailbone forward towards your inner right knee. Keeping your legs where they are, isometrically scissor them towards your midline. So again, not much visible action occurring, but it's more internal action as you're creating space, especially along your lower back. Two more breaths. Now sickle your left foot, turn the sole to face the right wall, slide your left arm out to the left, grounding the shoulder, keep tilting the left outer hip towards the front edge of your mat as you begin to slowly twist to the right side. Take your time, give yourself 10 full breaths to find whatever your full range of your twist is here. Maybe looking past your left shoulder. Gently roll onto your back, lifting your left leg upright again. This time hold the strap with two hands, parallel your legs to each other. Continue to press forward through the insteps of your flexed feet. And now bend the elbows apart, slowly bringing your left leg closer to your chest. If the back of your left thigh is resisting here, instead of bending your left knee, bend your right knee as much as you need. Try to keep your left leg straight without locking the knee. As you stay in this asana, a few more breaths. Spiral the inseam of your right leg towards the floor to prevent the leg from externally rotating. Two more deep breaths. Now removing the strap, bend your left knee towards your chest, shake out your feet or circle, point and flex, whatever you need to do to unwind from that flexing. Now find your wall space or your stack of pillows or your bed or your sofa in which you're going to raise your legs on. Set up there as comfortably as you can. I'm going to use a chair. Have your glutes as close to that piece of furniture or the wall as possible. So if it's the wall, you may want to sit with one outer hip flush against the wall, turn over to your side so that you're lying on your side in a fetal position, and then roll onto your back so that there's less scooching towards the wall once you're there. If you'd like a little more to stimulate blood flow and circulation, you can lift your hips and place a block or a pillow underneath the flat part of your lower back. So there's a little more elevation. I'm finding that my chair could be a little bit higher. I could raise, you could add some pillows on top of your piece of furniture if you want a little more lift. And then if you have a weighted blanket or your folded blanket, you can place that on top of your belly and your pelvis, as that weight can feel grounding and soothing. Make any adjustments here. Walk the shoulder blades both down your back ribs, lengthening your neck. Maybe gently turn the head until you can find a more neutral and balanced position in the head. And then to help open up the front of your shoulders, rotate your upper arm bones externally. So flip the palms to face up and let the backs of your hands rest on the ground. It's also a gesture of openness and receptivity. Less doing, it's more passive. As we're letting go of effort here, make sure your body feels completely supported, where you don't have to engage any muscles to be in this position longer. If you have an eye pillow or some gentle weight you can place on your eyes, that can also feel calming. Sometimes people use sandbags or bean bags and place them on the arms. That can also feel soothing. Same effect as the weighted blanket on your lower belly. You can also place them on your shoulders if you have them. Now close your eyes and I'll guide you through a mindful body scan. Begin by inhaling slowly through your nose, imagining the breath entering your body as a warm light, filling up your lungs, your belly, your pelvis, your legs and feet. And as you exhale slowly through the nose, allow every part of your body that filled with breath to now soften and relax more deeply, allowing your bones to weigh down a little heavier. On the next inhalation, see that warm light covering more territory, expanding through further reaches of your body, like your arms, your fingertips, your skull, the back of your body. And once again, as you exhale, let all those parts that receive the breath relax more deeply. One more time, inhale. Now start to, if you can, cover the whole body in your mind's eye with that warm light. And when you exhale, let your whole body succumb to relaxation, to letting go of holding on to anything, letting go of doing, letting go of regulating your breathing now. So trust your body to do the work of receiving and releasing the breath. And with your eyes still closed, bring your attention to the soles of your feet. Allow your toes and heels to relax. Feel the inner and outer arches of your feet relax too. Sense the tops of your feet soften. Feel your ankles full of ease. Let your calves on both legs completely unwind, relaxing your shins and your knees. Sense the backs of your knees fully relaxing, relaxing up to your backs of your thighs, your inner thighs, Feel your outer thighs softening. Feel the fronts of your thighs relax completely. Let that sense of melting come into your hips as you soften your glutes, your inner and outer hips, fronts of the hips, and lower belly. Relax your mid belly and your upper belly. Relax your lower back and your mid back. Feel the sides of your torso relax too. Lifting your gaze up to your armpits. Allow your shoulders to just fall into the support of what's beneath them. Relax your chest and your throat. Relax the sides of your neck, the back of your neck, the base of your skull. Relax your ears, both inside and outside. Relax your jaw. Let your tongue soften. Feel your cheeks relax. Soften the muscles surrounding your eyes. Let your forehead soften. Consciously relax your scalp. And feel the weight of your skull resting on the surface below it. Now bring your attention down your left upper arm, relaxing the muscles down to your left elbow, left forearm, all around, left wrist, left palm and fingertips, back of the hand. Bring your awareness to your right arm, the upper arm, relaxing it. Relax your right elbow, your right forearm, right wrist, right palm and fingertips, back of the right hand. Now sense your whole body deeper and deeper, sinking into relaxation. Sense the subtle, natural coming and going of each breath. Let your mind ever so easily ride the gentle waves of the breath. Seeing any thoughts that arise, like clouds just floating by. You don't need to reach for them. They'll just come and go as they will. There's nothing you need to do, but just be. let your body stay in this relaxed state. Allow your body to stay still a little longer. With your eyes still closed, imagine yourself hovering over your physical body and observing it as a whole. Notice the sensations that you're experiencing. Feel the way breath is entering and exiting your human body. And sense your own energy. Let's start to move very little by little. Begin to rub your thumb tips across the rest of your fingertips. And just notice the sensations there. Let each new movement be like an experimentation, playing with curiosity and noticing what you observe. Little by little, start to wiggle your toes. You can also keep your eyes closed here. Maybe you gently move your skull. And if you're resting on a prop, you might lift the hips to remove it. Start to make your way onto your right side, resting there for a few breaths. And then as you're ready, press the ground with your hands and slowly lift your body upright, coming into a comfortable seat to close our practice. So our meditation was just before Shavasana, a guided yoga Nidra, often called yogic sleep. Sense the way you feel now mentally and emotionally. Notice the overall effects of the way you've practiced these tools of yoga today. What's one thing you appreciate in this moment? Remind yourself of the intention that you set for this practice. Maybe even say it out loud. And then remember to whomever or whatever you dedicated today's practice. And let's close, chanting 3 times Om. Inhale fully. As you bow in, honor the light within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.